I am just testing to see if this thing works. And apparently it's working. And you can see me. And that's good. But, oof. It's frustrating. It's the second day in a row. Why? I don't know. Is AI that self-aware that it knew that we were talking about it? Or did we say like a magical conflation of words that sets off the lunk alarm of AI controls? I don't know. But it really, really sucks. This really sucks. So I just want to see if this thing works. It looks like it's working. But if you're watching the show, please do me a huge favor. Go back and watch the AI episode. I did change the title because I was a little frightened that if I used the same title, the same thing would happen. And so I changed the title to Advancements in AI. And hopefully that's enough. Just calling it Advancements in AI. So that's up. But everything's the same. I was sent a message, and when they send you a message, they show you what part of the video was violated the community standards. And they said that the introduction to the show, the intro video we've been playing for like, what, 4 or 5 years now, violated the firearm standard.
We're coming for you now.
That's how I felt. Word? Like all the stuff that's on YouTube, and that violates the firearm standard? Word? There's a lot of things that we have been flagged for on this show. Robbie Martin and I had a conversation. It was the last show I had done in studio. I think before the name of the show even changed to This Is Revolution. For those that don't know, Robbie is Abby's brother. And they banned that show. They pulled it. They said that we violated community standards with threatening language. It was a show about the Satanic Panic, and Robbie and I didn't threaten anyone or call anyone any like pejorative names. The audio version of that is definitely up, but it's weird, right? Maybe it needs to be along the lines of AI is great. Please don't censor me. That's probably what I need to start saying. Like, I love the master control computer, but this is so weird. And the stream was blocked, but it wasn't blocked on Ben's channel, which I have access to, and I knew he wasn't doing a show, so I was able to put it up there. But I'll put the show back up. I just wanted to see if I could stream. This problem is resolved, if you will. Very, very strange. So I don't know if I have to change the titles on everything to We Love White People. Yay, liberals. I don't know. But I'm not going to say that. Like, I hate when I see people like afraid to say things like so-and-so committed suicide. They're like, they unalived themselves. It's like, oh, go fuck off. Like, are you so scared of the algorithm? Like, the odds of you not getting monetized for saying that are very few and far between. It's ridiculous how people let shit like that police their speech to the point where now everyone sounds like HR representatives. Kind of bitch moves to me. Ooh. But let's Let's put the chat on the screen so everybody can see what you guys are saying right now. Time for my Ibrahim X Kendi arc, says George Dorsey. What's up, George Dorsey? Where have you been? Where the fuck have you been, G Money? Sam Badger says big beautiful bill, more like bad bourgeois broadband. Am I right? That's funny. That's really funny. No, this is insane. This is again, I don't have any words to explain how frustrating this is, because you know, you plan these shows, you do the reading and all the research and get it ready, and then it just goes. That's not fun at all. And then I do this just to see if everything's working. And now a bunch of people jump on and like, hey, Jay, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. George says, you've been trying to read more? Good for you. More shout outs for George. Joe says, deep state on deep state crime. I don't know what it is, man. That was one of the more odd things that have happened on this show when it comes to like shows getting pulled. Like, look, we definitely flirt with violating the community guidelines all the time. If you guys are patrons of the show, you know in the Champagne Room, we always play music and we watch clips and we react to them. When you live stream that, the AI is constantly looking for copyright infringement, and they either pull it pretty quick or you get a message saying you can't monetize it, which is fine. The Champagne Room, I know we can't monetize stuff there, so I don't really whine about it. But on the main show, we're a little better about stuff like that. And to pull shit from the main show like that, oh man. Yeah, that was crazy. It was really, really crazy. But oh, see, I have another screen up. So I can see. I'm monitoring to see if this show is getting pulled again, because I want to see how long I talk, because we were 8 minutes in before they pulled it last time, saying that we violated the standards. So I don't even want to say that online. I don't want to say, fuck it. We violated, fuck it, we're doing it live. Saying we violated the standards for the firearm community standards for the intro. So that's why I played the intro to the show to see. So we're 10 minutes into this, and it looks like they're fine violating standards. But all of a sudden, I have a lag on my internet connection, which is strange. A little strange. But the show is playing. That's all that matters. Dig Duck says pew pew pew. Yeah, yeah. And the thing was, we were going to try to live stream the thing that I'm doing with Catherine tomorrow, and I thought that would have been fun. So we could have asked questions and then in real time, because I would have actually had someone there manning the computer, and we were going to have multiple camera angles. Like, I'm all excited about it, and I wouldn't have to do all the shit that I normally do, and I could just sit there and just interesting. Yes. Like I wanted. That's what I wanted. I'd love to do that for like 45 minutes to an hour. The gangster capitalism thing that Catherine is doing is really fucking interesting. And for the first time, I watched Scarface from 1932, and I didn't realize how many similarities it has to the first one. But I think we're just going to try to record it and upload it. I have to do it again. So again, I'll say it again. If you haven't seen the show from last night, it originally was called Military and AI, and I changed the name to Advancements in AI. But that's all I changed. So the thumbnail is the same. It's just the raw video that they said was too hot for TV. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Kuba says that I will be the new Norm Finkelstein for the most censored man. That's funny. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be. Like that's not a for me, it's not a prize. Like this is what I do for a living. If I get cut, someone asked me today, they said, "Is there something you can do?" And I said, no, not really. It took 6 years to build up whatever the hell I have here on YouTube, which is actually isn't that large compared to other people that do similar things. Um, I don't know why. I'd like to lie and say that it's because I've been shadow banned, but I think it's just because I don't chase trends that get you a certain amount of growth. Um, and to do that all over again is really hard. You have to walk away from whatever following people don't necessarily follow you. It's not like if, for example, 200 people watch the show a night and I have this problem. Those 200 people just don't go to the next platform. People were saying it in the chat. They were like, well, I don't have Twitter. Like the show's up on Twitter. I don't have Twitter. Someone else sent a super chat. Thank you very much, Dizzle. And said, I'm not changing the platform that I'm watching this on. Hopefully this gets like kind of new. It is what it is. So because there is so much out there, if I disappear, I just disappear. A small handful of people will probably follow it, but it would be less than 50% probably that watch the show that would look for it somewhere else, i.e. Twitter, which doesn't monetize. Facebook doesn't monetize really. And Twitch, I'd have to start doing it on Twitch. And Twitch is just, ugh, ugh. So that's where it is. So we're 14 minutes on and it still didn't get pulled down. Is there a betting pool for where this video gets interrupted? You should. Can we get one, please? One of the things we didn't talk about is there is a provision, not provision. There's a thing in the bill where you're going to get taxed more on your gambling earnings, and being that probably a good amount of the younger MAGA are gamblers. They're people that gamble. Sports betting is just so prevalent. And it's gamified. It's super gamified. I mean, before it was just spreads, right? Now it's these insane parlays where it's like, did someone pass for so many yards or shoot so many baskets and make it's prop bets and these crazy parlays that play into fantasy sports. I think that plays a role in what we're seeing with the WNBA's rise. Like we have to be honest with that. The WNBA has been around for a minute, and it's not like Caitlin Clark is the first non-black player they've had that's been exceptional. It's not like she's the first non-black player they've had that shoots a three-pointer. So I don't think it's just her, and then she was bestowed upon the fucking hardwood from an angel. I think there's a few things working. The rise of female sports, club sports that go beyond soccer. Money in youth sports. When I say money, I mean the money that people are making from NIL and gambling. Gamblers don't want to stop gambling because freaking football season is over. They're going to gamble on everything. And now you can year-round gamble on basketball. You think those fools aren't gambling off the UFL? The CFL? They're going to gamble on whatever they can gamble on. Whatever you can get a line on, whatever you can get prop bets on, you're going to put money on. And the WNBA is being played like the NBA. There's no more. There's no longer a big difference in gameplay. It's a lot of stuff from the perimeter. So I think she comes along at just the right time. That being said, to tax people to the point where maybe you won't even really be getting your earnings, your winnings, because you're being taxed so heavy. Had that been a bigger deal, that would have been January 6th 2.0. These fools would have rioted. You would have seen people that can't spell primary yelling out, we're primarying everyone that doesn't fall in line and take this shit out of this bill. And then maybe, maybe we should take this Medicaid shit out too. I don't know. Lady Braga says, my juniors gamble. Yeah, it's insane. It's different. It's not a fucking parlay card with these numbers on there that don't make sense. 3.5 points. What the fuck does that mean? What? What's juice? I owe this guy how much money now? No, it's so different. Do it from the comfort of your phone. Was the genius of that shit. And I don't say that with regard. I say that with contempt. Make it like a video game. Make it like an app. Everyone loves doing this with their thumbs. And there you go. I can't listen to sports radio anymore because most of it is just gambling talk. When I'm driving back from the Bay Area in the wee hours of the morning, it's a little more stereotypical right-leaning sports talk. But throughout the day, it's just gambling talk. And the way value is put on people that don't perform for gamblers, and which is kind of the way we saw fantasy 20, 30 years ago. And I don't know, I can't speak for all y'all, but we used to look at those fantasy people like, fuck you, like, just shut up and watch the game, dude. I'm not going to root against my team. So somebody runs for a 50-yard, like, no, it's stupid. I want to, dude, you can win money. And it changed everything. Changed everything. Jason Might should go to church tomorrow. Francis says you got nuked a second time. Something happened, Francis, and we didn't even get off the ground. Francis says I'll stick to my own theory. Not enough N-words. I wish that was the case. Like, oh, he's been pretty quiet on that. We need more for our own entertainment. Timothy Scholar. I don't know who a lot of you people are watching. I just looked at the bill. The provision is going to cut deep into gamblers' pockets. They must not know yet. It's not part of the news because if you think about left-leaning news, I'm going to assume that most people that are watching right now probably watch this show regularly and they consume left media. Majority Report, Jimmy Dore, Brianna Joy. I don't know, insert motherfucker here that I don't really give a shit about. None of those people are going to talk about gambling. You know why? It's not hot in them streets. Doesn't get clicks. If you're a sports-focused show, you can talk about gambling. And even then, you're not going to get the same amount of love you would get if you talked about, I don't know, the shoes that basketball players wear causing Achilles tears. Like, there's a sad reality about what people want to talk about, what they don't want to talk about. Like Africa. It's not like shit is sweet over there, but nobody cares. Venezuela, every conservative's favorite country. You don't really see too many people talking about it. It might get mentioned here and there. Nobody really cares. And I don't say that because it's cool. I say that because it disgusts me. Let's talk about Club Kino. Who needs the mob when you have crypto capitalists? Jamie Foxx and Kevin Hart said online gambling is cool. I mean, look, man, I've fucking wasted a lot of money in Vegas. I've won a lot of money in Vegas. Gambling is fun. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it's not. Gambling on sports for me is not fun. Like blackjack, I love blackjack. I haven't played it in a long time because I love blackjack. I lived in Vegas for a very short time when I met my ex that I did music with because that's where we met actually. And I moved there and we just had the most like fucking grimy Vegas life you could ever have. Just I don't even want to fucking talk about it. I lived a life. But I told myself when I moved to Vegas, I was like, no, nothing. Not playing one hand of blackjack. I'm not pulling one slot because that shit's addictive. And I didn't. I stuck true. Discipline. Now strip clubs. Joseph McGovern. Weren't you a senator? Also, sports journalists and media are neither turning a blind eye or just don't care because it's seemingly an influx of cash to a profession that's dying slowly. Sports journalism? Sports journalism is super fucking dead. When Sports Illustrated was like, we're going to go AI articles, you writers can eat all the dicks, like jailhouse dicks, like kinds that you don't want. Not that cool way that people just celebrated this past weekend. Just fucking the way you don't want it. Just eat them. Yeah. It is. When Rick Perlman has his own YouTube channel with like 25,000 subscribers, this is a man that has literal New York Times best-selling books. He wrote the book that got optioned for the series Winning Time. I don't know if he ever did anything else that got optioned for a movie or TV show. And I don't agree with a lot of the things he says or his analysis because I think the downside of sports journalism is it's so narrative based that everything happens in a vacuum. Like when you hear him talk, there's things I'm glad he brings up, but it brings up in this vacuum where you just think it's because certain people are good or certain people are bad. And some of the things lack a certain amount of context. I've tried to reach out to him to come on the show. We'll see. We'll see. Stranger things have happened. I think it would be an interesting conversation. But he has I think he has a pretty fun channel where he talks about certain books he's written or even just like sports memories of his. I think he's a great sports mind. I think he's a great sports journalist in that he's not going to come on here every day and spin a yarn and give you an opinion that he hasn't thought deeply about. I think that's important. George says, I kind of wish they kept gambling illegal in Illinois. Now there's these little video game gambling spots on every corner, and that's not an exaggeration. I mean, that's what Nevada looks like. I haven't been to Illinois in a while. That's crazy. Sabermetrics isn't perfect, but Moneyball really evolved the sports combo, in my honest opinion. I'm not a big Moneyball fan. You still got to play the game. You still got to play the game. It's not video games, right? like I didn't give a shit about baseball for a long time. And at the bar that sometimes Ben Burgess and I go to here in Mexico, I'm not gonna, it's more of an American centered bar. The guy owns it as Mexican, but he's from the States, so he's a big sports fan. He's from LA, so he's a huge Dodger fan, but he's a Giants fan for or not Giants, sorry, but a Niner fan for some reason. So anyway, the World Series or the playoffs are going on, and it was the Dodgers against the Padres. Two teams I'd hate the Dodgers. I just don't care about the Padres. Fuck them. And that was a fun playoff series to watch, actually. And I'd read about Ohtani and I'd seen highlights, but I'd never like watched him play. Kind of same with Mookie Betts. Those guys were so exciting. It's so fun to watch. And to watch Ohtani pitch, it's just insane to see. As much as we talk about the overtraining that certain people do, we should talk about this era of oh my God athletes that we live in. Like Steph Curry, oh my God. Am I saying that because I'm a Bay Area guy? Probably. But I think that his shot over Wembanyama in the Olympics as he's falling back and shoots that three, that's going to be one of the most iconic. There's like two photos for me that this past Olympics that should stick in your mind. That and can't think of the track chick's name. They got popped for weed, and she's winning the race, and she's looking to the side like this as she's running. I don't know if you guys ever done this, but most humans slow down when they turn their head. She was like a fucking ostrich, and she lost no speed. That was one of the coolest. Those two shots for me, some of the coolest Olympic shots ever. And I like the Olympics. The Olympics are fun. Sha'Carri Richardson. Thank you, Joseph. Crazy athletes, dude. If the Dodgers didn't play that style, and I'm not a fan of it, man. Call me a purist. I want to see a pitcher go. And we all know Ohtani can give you easy 6 innings. Easy. Putting him on a rotation as a starter, is it going to shorten his career? I don't know. Maybe. Nolan Ryan played forever. There's a lot of pitchers that threw hard. Ohtani hits triple digits. There's a lot of players that threw hard and pitched forever. You're going to tell me Nolan Ryan knew about load management? How many presidents came and went during Nolan Ryan's baseball tenure? Did the Civil Rights Act pass when he was playing for the Mets? I'm serious. He went from being able to call players the N-word to seeing black managers. That's how long he played. That's insane. So, yeah. Let Ohtani pitch. Fuck it. Let's just see some. I just want to see the greatest shit ever. I saw Barry Bonds play. Bases are loaded. Walk him. What? Walk him? Yeah, you're gonna walk him. You're gonna walk him because he's not gonna hit a grand slam. Robert Booth is watching this. Robert Booth, I know for a fact you're a Giants fan. You know what I'm talking about? When the bases would be loaded, and he'd be like, "Are you gonna pitch to Barry Bonds?" And they would pitch to Barry Bonds, and he'd smash one to the ocean. His numbers are video game like, and you can say, "Oh, it's just steroids." I don't care. How many people was he playing against that was on steroids? I mean, pitchers. I don't know. Probably most of them. I'm all in for roid on roid action. Joseph McGovern says, yeah, you can look at Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander the last decade and a half or so. Also, Jamie Moyer played till he was almost 50. Don't think pitching will shorten his career. LeBron James is not going to stop playing basketball. There's two things LeBron James won't do: shave his head or stop playing basketball. But seriously, he's not going to stop playing basketball. He convinced the team to burn a second round pick on his son. That's how long he's played basketball. They drafted his kid. When Ken Griffey Sr. played with Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. looked like Ken Griffey Sr. He looked like an old black man that got this amazing privilege to play with his son. Remember when Cal and Billy Ripken and their dad was like the coach of the Orioles, and they were all on the same team? That is cute. I didn't think it was going to be so common for us to see all these second generation athletes, to the point where that's all we see is second generation athletes. If you don't have the money, you ain't fucking playing real deal sports. Someone says, where's Mac? Mac was supposed to be on the show tonight. Maybe that's the jinx. What if Mac was behind everything? It's all his fucking plot. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of sports betting. It just kind of sucks, dude. I don't like hanging around gamblers either when you're watching a game with them. Because my team can lose, and I'm cool with that. I'm like, oh, it wasn't their day. Sometimes someone's just better than you. I just paid $2,000 for my son to play fall ball. Jesus Christ, that motherfucker better be good. And that's another thing. When you pay that kind of money for your kid to play a sport that they can be passionate about, right? Do you look at that motherfucker and go, hey, I don't want just a trophy. I'm going to need you to pay this mortgage off. Like, is that the level that it gets to? I don't know. My kids have never really excelled at much. My oldest son at swimming, but there's not really, like, what are you going to do other than the Olympics? And when you know you're not Olympic good, what are you going to do? You're going to teach it? It's kind of all you can do. Dive real cool in front of chicks. Prairie Fire says maybe eugenics is not only fake science, but only for sport. Robert Booth says you wanted to pay for college. You know, Dylan, why can't I think of his name? Dylan Rodriguez comes on the show sometime. His son plays baseball at Dartmouth and is doing pretty good. I follow him. He's always posting about his son. My son went 3 for 4 today. My son, that's cool, I think. I don't know. I'm sure there's some people that played at a high level watching the show right now. If you got to the college level playing a sport, would that be enough for you? Like, I played some in college, I'm good. Would it be enough for your parents? Or would your parents be like, oh, couldn't go all the way, huh? I doubt it. Yeah, baseball scholarships are tiny. My mom is here. No joke. Video game tournaments are the most working class friendly competitions, low bar of entry. I guess just need time, right? Time playing the game to get good enough that you can go pro. And I don't know what constitutes a pro video game player. I don't want to know. Like, I think we all know what constant, like, size helps in that sports, but you have to play it a lot and work out. Is there a workout for a video game, or is it just isolation? Like, hey, he lived in isolation. He had no friends. Motherfucker's a champ. I don't know. But that's a sad reality if video games are the most working class way into any sort of idea of quote unquote making it out through sports, because there is a true barrier now, and that barrier is money. Like, do kids have fun? Like, I'm asking this seriously as a person that has most of my kids again are old. The young one is just too young to care about anything other than dinosaurs. The motherfucker loves dinosaurs. Don't ask my mom. Don't ask my mom anything. People are in the chat asking my mom questions. Hopefully she's logged off by now and won't answer that question. When Alfie sent me the a copy of the book, the mini pamphlet, I Was a Teenage Anarchist, I was all stoked, and I wrote a acknowledgments in the front, and of course I thanked my mom and my dad and the White family and all these other people you guys probably don't know. And I screenshotted something for my mom, and it wasn't congratulations. It wasn't, oh, that's nice. It was teenage, I would say 6 months. Her response was, I would say about 6 months in. That's when I knew you were trouble. She's not lying. She's not lying. My interest did start in church, is where I sang first. That's true. She wouldn't lie. But it looks like everything's working. I've been talking for 40 minutes. They didn't pull anything down. We played the intro to the show. Cross our fingers for tomorrow. But thank you guys for just hanging with me while I tested this thing out to see if we, quote unquote, fix the problem. So don't be surprised if all the thumbnails and all the show titles are just why I love unicorns. Do frogs fart? Does the sun make a sound? If those are the titles, then you know that I just don't want to get the show pulled. Oh yeah, it's a holiday weekend for you Americans. You're going to come down here and explode illegal fireworks, aren't you? Can I be an old man real quick? As a resident of urban areas, around the 15th of June, and I'm being extremely generous, it sounds like a war zone. If you have a dog, it's going fucking crazy. If you have a baby, it's terrified. All because people want to play with explosives. Just go somewhere where you can play with explosives and not bother people. Like, is that too much to ask? Because someone's going to get pissed off and fuck you up. Robert Booth says Peter Thiel is watching. Wow, you give your dog weed? You have to have a lot of money to give your dog drugs. George says, George, you live in Chicago, so I know it's like just fucking like just, boom. It just sounds like you gotta do a duck and cover drill. I know no one gives a shit what some douchebag is saying that lives in Mexico, but I'm gonna deal with this much fireworks shit. And I live in a place where all that stuff people get fined for and sometimes arrested for, you can buy here just buy it on the street all year round. They write them signs in English. It's so quiet. You might hear one a-hole, trying to blow his hand off. It's not very loud. People go to they do this wacky thing and they go to where the fireworks are going to be at the beach and they watch them there. Oh, and then they said, nobody needs to throw little grenades. Yeah, Robert Booth says it sounds like World War III. I believe it. I believe it. And you're in like San Jose somewhere. You're in the South Bay. I hella believe it. It's again. I am a person that has definitely played with explosives, shot a firearm. I've done all the dumb shit that people do. And you get a little older, you're like, oh, just go to a place where it's okay to do that shit and don't do it around where people have kids and dogs. It's just, you're such a douche when you do that. Timothy says it's less noisy in NYC the last few years. I wonder if that's an economic thing or new residents don't like noise. This is the truest thing anyone has ever said about me in the last 4 years. Jason, when he sees Americans in his town, there goes the neighborhood. Yes. Every time. I try to escape tourists all the time. All the time. Oh, fuck, the street's all congested. They're going to jack up the prices for the tacos. They were popping off rockets. Dude, I'm letting you know, it's been tranquilo. I say that now, and then I'll do a fucking video where it sounds like fucking Vietnam. It's pretty desolate where I am, and everyone's gone. So. Oh, Robert Booth says he stopped lighting off fireworks because the homeowner's insurance is trying to cancel him. And Andrew, I would love to tell you no, there's a cheaper places, but I'm gonna lie so you don't come down here and say, yeah, Andrew, it's like $15. Don't come. Andrew, as a matter of fact, I'm about to give you this.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Go! Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I gotta go. I have to pack and go to Irvine so I can go interview Catherine Liu tomorrow afternoon. That's gonna be fun. I promise. I wrote the script before I started this show. I'm so ready for tomorrow. Coffee and a bagel in San Francisco. Coffee and a bagel in San Francisco is so. Whenever I go, I have never before I go. I'm gonna bitch at you guys for a minute. I have never felt so poor. Like driving up, it's just fast food, right? That's around me because it's like truck stops and stuff, right? So I have the McDonald's app, and I've accumulated so many points. Like, I'm so strategic about the app and my point accumulation that it's like one trip is just point accumulation and the next trip is just get the free shit. So when I get to the city that San Francisco's, we call it the city, I'm like, what the fuck is all this shit? Why is it $7-8 for a coffee? What kind of coffee is this? I want to know. Now I need to know the story of this coffee bean to make me feel slightly better about the amount of money that I can pay for a day. I'm paying now for a cup of coffee. Oh, you can get motherfucked. Oh. It's in fucking sane. Pete's around the corner is charging $3.72 for a small medium black. That's what I'm so was it Sunday or Monday? Monday, I needed to grab something from my friend, and we have this thing called the Tianguis, which is like a flea market. We have 2 flea markets in Rosarito. There's one on Sunday, or 2 big ones. There's one on Sunday that's in one part of town, and it's they're both massive, and they go forever. Like, you walk one way and you will walk into a whole different neighborhood. Like, it is, I'm not even trying to over exaggerate, is the Asperger's if you think I'm fucking lying. Hella big. So I went to the Monday one. There's a dude I'm looking for there. There's a lot of stuff there that's fallen off of a truck. So I had a couple bucks on me, had a couple pesos on me. I got some things, and I was like, oh, maybe I should eat. And I ate well at a really nice place that's right there where the flea market is. And because the dollar's taken a bit of a shit, it was like $11 for the whole day. The day. Walking around the flea market, getting the day. I went on a date in San Francisco. Nigga, what? Nigga, what? Exactly, me. Shit's pricey. As a white boy, how do I attract my high school colleges? Colleagues, to my communist barbecue. Don't tell them it's a communist barbecue. Start there. George said, I'm 50 cents a cup of coffee old. Andrew says, I spent $50 on a sushi date and I only got a hug. Damn!
No, my brother. You got to buy your own.
Damn, that's what you gotta tell him. Every time I want to hang up, you niggas be sending hella funny ass messages. Damn. Diddy's going to be the next Jeffrey Epstein. I don't think so. You know, we've covered this Diddy shit since the first Cassie allegations happened. And I don't mean covered it like we were on the scene and we were fucking grabbing baby oil containers and seeing, you know, Zapruder films about Puffy's cock and the mask he wore when he jerked off and gave orders, which is really odd, by the way. That's some odd shit. I have found myself in some exquisitely odd sexual situations in 47 years of life. Never have I thought to use my penis as like a pointer. You. No, not you. You. Over there. Yeah, with the soft hands. Grab it like so, see? I'm talking like this because I just watched Scarface from 1932. Robert, you don't care about the Diddy thing? Care about it for this reason. This is why I care about it. And this is why I cared about the Johnny Depp thing. And I didn't care about it because of celebrity gossip and his people that I grew up with and admire. I'd never really liked Sean, Puffy, P. Diddy, Diddy Pop, Papa Love, Diddy, Wop, Pop, Combs. Don't really give a shit about him. Care about it for this reason. I knew that people were going to have difficulty with the fact that these women were not perfect victims. And when that video came out of him kicking Cassie, all the moral outrage followed. Can you believe? Can you believe? How could a man? How dare you? Why would you? He's a scum. He's going down. Toussaint, somebody's got to go down. The Afro pessimism kicked in everybody, but he's black. Where's Bill Cosby? Because last I checked, it's not prison. Does it get any more chocolatier than him? The calmness. He wasn't worried. He didn't want to be in jail. I don't know anyone that wants to go to jail. I've heard people that lie and say they want to go to jail, but I don't know people that like can't wait to go. It's not fun. Not at all. Last I checked, people like their freedom or the idea of freedom. And prison is complicated. My friends that are deported, this prison is forever for them because they don't have freedom. They can't go where they're from. They can't see family unless family sees them. That's a crazy powerlessness to feel that you were at the mercy of someone's kindness. You can't just go, I just want to go see I'm going to go see my kids. I'm going to go see my sister, my brother, my mom, or whatever. You can't do that. You can try, but you may go sit in another prison again for a long time. But I don't know too many people that are like fired up to go to prison. You didn't want to go to prison. Prison's not fun. You ever been in a holding cell? I was in a holding cell once. That shit was not fun. Someone had smeared shit all over the wall. I was like, that's a lot. Not fun. But I knew once the messages came, because there was going to be things that this woman said that weren't going to fit into the way people wanted to view her. When you see her get kicked, it looks like she was just demoralized and trying to escape. And then, did you guys hear those messages? Couldn't wait for the freak off. Wish I could have freaked off again. The Punisher guy saying that she was ordering things around. She was ordering hoes and dude hoes, and cocaine's fun until it's not. And I'm not saying that this woman deserves anything. I'm saying that it's hard for people to understand what abuse looks like because there's this way we understand abuse. And women are always cowering in a corner. And there's some dude that's like, these eggs is runny, bitch. And then, eventually she gets the courage to leave. And it becomes about courage and not about the economics of staying sometimes. And how that's so built into the way you understand the world that some of these things are just the price you pay. Being so broken to the point where maybe you only understand love to look and feel a certain way, where it has to be violent. You're living for moments of peace. You're frightened for the reality of, well, what else is there? You know, he's not that bad all the time. I don't always have to do a freak off. Imagine you're super young. You're with one of the most famous people in the fucking world. He's giving you the best drugs. That's not fucking, oh, this burns cocaine because it's got too much meth in it. That's probably really good cocaine. That's probably orgasm from your toes to your head cocaine. You probably ate at a restaurant that only a small handful of people can eat in. I told you guys about my brother works at a restaurant that has like 2 Michelin stars. They're working on a third. And because my brother said, oh, my brother Jay is here with his friends. They just spoke somewhere. He's in town. And the chef was like, I got you. I'm going to make some special stuff from on the house. So all these specialties the chef made, and even with the desserts, they're just giving a shit left and right. And Ben goes, I'm mad that there's people that can afford to eat like this. It's so delicious. I can't afford those bites. I can't even think about those bites. I was ready to fight that nigga over some bread. I don't know what they put on that butter. Real talk. I was ready to fight that nigga. I was like, oh, don't you dare take another, you motherfucker. You're going to those restaurants. You're not going to the airport like normal people. You walk onto the tarmac in a private jet. You go to a hotel in a part of the hotel that you didn't know existed before you met this greasy nigga. And I'm sure he's nice at first. And again, this shit's probably fun. And it's secret. What we do is secret. It's secret. The great Germ song. Nobody knows. You're fucking people that won't tell their friends. And if they do, you're like, I don't know them niggas. I'm sure that young woman had fun until she didn't. And I don't think that makes her less of a victim, is my point. But that's really hard for people to understand. And a RICO charge? Come on, man. You knew he wasn't going to get a RICO charge. As much shit as people, don't slut shame me. That's ultimately what it was. He's a very rich man that likes to direct people with his penis. That's odd. And like R. Kelly, or R. Kelly-ish, I think, he seemed like a real fucking bastard. But a RICO charge? That's much. You see, they didn't give a RICO charge to R. Kelly. And also, there's a certain amount of sympathy people didn't have because no one has heard the victim speak. When R. Kelly went down, one of the things people have to remember was we knew about the P tape if you were in the black community because niggas was selling it. I was curious, and Coach Will goes, I don't want to watch it. I was like, word? He goes, it's child pornography. Thank you for being the voice of reason and my best friend in the whole wide world. Sam Badger says people can be victims of abuse and have an amazing time 90% of their time. Fuck, dude. It's so true, Sam. I would give you the pound and a homie hug if you were here right now. It's so hard to understand. And again, that's a lot for someone to lose. She got a whole career wrapped around that Negro. And you got to walk away and be Cassie, the cute light skinned chick that work at Starbucks? Psh, nigga, please. Would you say it was Rico tarded? Yes. I would say that. Yeah. A Rico case all by himself is ridiculous. That's not how that shit works. And Weinstein may be going free soon. No one talks about that, but I can't remember which state. It was either New York or LA where they dropped all the charges. So if this happens to Diddy Wop Pop when all the Me Too stuff is happening, maybe he sits down for a minute and then gets out a few months later on technicalities and an appeal. But people don't really have sympathy for women. There's not a lot of sympathy for women that suffer abuse because people look at them and go, well, bitch, why didn't you leave? It's just that easy, is it? Well, yeah. Can't you just leave? Like, why would you do that? Sometimes people just get used to getting hit. Sometimes people are very apologetic. And some people do want to change. Sometimes people don't have the money to leave. Some people don't know what to do. Like, why would I live? Well, is the grass really greener? It might be less hitty on the other side. And sometimes people go right back into the same kind of situation. Trauma is a motherfucker that people don't really like to talk. Like, we say it a lot. But in these spaces, people don't really like to talk about individual failings and issues. But it should be important. We should talk about these things. If you really want to build a left coalition, you have to be able to talk about these things with people. They need to feel comfortable to be able to say these things, talk about these issues. And one thing I know is most people look at an abused woman and they go, there's a lot of, why didn't you leave? Like, what is there for her if she was to leave? She eventually left, but it probably took a lot. She probably had to get clean, first of all, or at least clean enough to know that what was happening wasn't cool. I think I've said this before on the show. I'll say it again. Maybe it deserves repeating. I'm sure there's people watching right now. They see a live streams going on. It says testing. Like, who's this fucking weirdo in this goofy ass pink shirt? Fuck you. I like this shirt. I got it for $1 at the flea market. But all jokes aside, there was a woman that was getting beat up by her boyfriend when I worked in the shelter. I mean, it happened more often than just this woman, but this one sticks out in my mind for this reason. I'll tell you at the end. And to tell you, I want you to wrap your minds around this situation. Hotels are not made for surveillance. They're made for privacy. So even though we had cameras everywhere, you still can't see everything. So there was a younger dude, like 30, and he was homeless and he was having issues. He had back problems that caused him to lose his job and get a little addicted to dope. And he found himself on the streets. He was an angry man. He was a very angry young man. And on multiple occasions, I had to stop him from punching an 80-year-old woman in a walker because he said she was too loud. One day he was having a moment and he had a car and he was trying to hit someone with his car, and we were called over to break up a fight. As I'm trying not to fight this man because I'm just a dude from Richmond. I'm not special. I don't have powers. I've been trained on all the things, but there's only so many times I can be a bitch ass nigga where it's like, well, today's your day. Today's the day we fight. And as we're kind of resolving that problem, I think he ended up hitting a car. We hear screams from the other side of the building, and they're yelling for us, me and another guy. We run over, and this dude in front of everybody was hitting on his chick. And I really hate the idea. Just give people a house. Look, I want everybody to have a house, but it's not that simple. It's not like the house makes the spousal abuse go away or the pedophilia go away or the whatever the fuck you have go away. There's so much, right, that we have to take into consideration. Because when you give the house and the shit doesn't work out, then the conservatives go, we gave them the house. You liberals, look what they did. Well, actually, nobody wants to hear, well, actually, at that point. Have a fucking plan. Anyway, dude, we get over there. Dude sees me. And it's not like I'm an imposing presence. I'm 5'10". I was smaller than I am now. So I'm not an imposing presence. There was a few of us. The dude I was with was a big dude. But he was like, all right. And he goes, are you going to call the cops? And I was like, nah, just leave. Because he wasn't on the books. She was. He wasn't. Like, people could stay there. And so she was upset. He left. Everybody was fired up. That nigga. All right, well, the nigga's going. I watched him leave. He was gone. The hotel bordered a bunch of other hotels that at the time, some were like legit COVID places. Some were holding facilities for people that were getting released from San Quentin where they had to stay in quarantine for a while. And there was one hotel that refused to be part of the program. That was just a free for all. That's where all the pimps would bring their hookers and the dope, and our clients would go over there, and their people would try to sneak in, and they ran through the fence. It's insane. Fucking insane. And this dude was sneaking back in and staying with the chick. And one day she goes, can I talk to you? I said, yeah. She goes, you know what room I'm in? Room, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, I know what room you're in. So I go over to her room, and I see the guy in the room. And he sees me, and she closes the door. And she comes to the front lobby, and I go, are you okay? And she goes, yeah, I'm fine. I was like, I saw the dude in your room. She goes, no, that's someone else. I was like, nah, that's that guy. And she goes, no, it's not him. It's somebody else. And I go, And she gave me this long ass lie. Guess what people do? They give you a lie so long. See who you thought it was? I know you thought it was him, because nah. But you're not. Okay. Word. So there actually was a couple employees that stayed from the actual hotel, and they were front desk people, and they would know, they could see what rooms were calling. And one night, like the next night, I think that room called, and I was like, and we went over there, and the woman was shook and didn't see the dude. And she ended up coming to the front. She was like, he's back. And he's been coming back. Now, this isn't the moment to say, why did you lie to me, bitch? Can't do the dad stuff that you think is acceptable. Okay. Some security dudes were with me. We had this security group from Uganda. And we go through the apartment. We can't, or the hotel room. We can't find the fucking dude. We can't find the fucking, shower, right? You look under the bed, and the bed, you can't hide under the bed. The closet's open. Where the fuck is the dude? Is he a weird contortionist and he hid in a drawer? Can't find the dude. We're looking, and you know how small a hotel room is? Is he on the ceiling like fucking spy? Where is this nigga? This nigga was under the sink. The carpet was brown. He was a brown-skinned black man, and he got naked and blended in with the carpet. I shit you not. Security, we hit the lights, and the security guard had a flashlight. He's like, I found him. That's a bad Ugandan accent, but the dude he was a large man, and this is going to sound bad. Our first instinct was to laugh. Maybe it's the cathartic release of finding the trouble. But we're like, was he naked? That's crazy. So the dude's like, can I at least get my teeth? Like, yeah, grab your teeth, but we're totally calling the police this time. Call the police. They exited him off the property. And for people that like, also there's people that like, if you call the police, they're going to shoot him. Like, what world do you live in where the cops are just shooting everybody when you call? Like, usually they come like, where's the problem? They're not like, this isn't Mayberry. This is Oakland. So no incident. They take the guy off the property. And because of the guy's access that he was getting, I look at the woman, I was like, and every room was booked, but someone had just left and the room wasn't clean. And I said, there's a room that I know is open. I haven't approved this with management, but I think it'll be okay. You want to move there? And she just shook her head. Yeah, she couldn't even talk. She shook her head. Yeah. Help her gather her things, walk her to this room, which was in a tower. So it was kind of like a motel situation, then it had a hotel tower. It was the Radisson. I think it was the Radisson in Oakland by the airport, if you guys know where that is. Get her to the tower, get her to the room, ask her if she needs anything. She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And it's a crazy night. It was a crazy night. And the door closes. And I hear this woman let out the most painful cry I've ever heard in my life. It was a sound of relief and pain that burned into my memory, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget her face. I broke down on the other side of the door. She definitely was going through it. She saw me a few days later and came up and gave me a hug and thanked me and whatever. Whatever. It's just it literally, it's just your job. That was just that day. The next day had similar situations. It's every day, right? It's just your job. And because of that situation, I was like, we need to start a class of women trying to deal with violence and men dealing with violence, because it's not just as simple as fix chicks. We got to fix these niggas. Like, everybody's got to get fixed. Like, let's try to help everybody. And within a couple days, she was back out in the streets. She's still a victim, but they don't perform the way people want them to perform. And that woman and all the other women that I've ever been around, just people in general that have been around those types of relationships, they're not perfect. They're not all mousy and cowering in a corner. Sometimes they're loud, they're boisterous, sometimes they instigate shit. They're and that's what happened here. You had the most not perfect victim in the history of not perfect victims for a situation that those mild complexities no one wants to think about for 1 minute, because it became about baby oil and not about a 40-some-year-old man and a young 20-something aspiring starlet and the power dynamics that just exist in that relationship. How common that was to see, and okay, it's okay, everything's fine. She's an adult. She knows better. She doesn't know better. I don't fucking know what that world looks like. And we don't know what her past consists of. And when I saw that ass kicking that that little girl got in the hallway with Puffy, it brought me back to that moment at the shelter. Will people remember the fragile person, or will they only hear the text messages and think, I no longer have to feel sorry for you? Prisons are filled with women that have murdered or killed. Let's say killed. They're abusers. Because district attorneys say, why didn't you leave? Well, you shot him twice. I didn't know that if I'm trying to defend myself, I have to have a certain amount of wherewithal to think about the repercussions of survival. Andrew says, explains why people gravitate towards stories of kids being harmed. Adult situations are much messier. Yeah. But that the person, I don't know how long ago they made the Sean Combs comment. That's what I think about when I hear those stories and Johnny Depp. I think about the system in which we live in, where if you are a mildly attractive woman and you can find yourself in that situation, you're going to use whatever you can get to try to get out of the doldrums, the frightening reality of where we are today. Unless you're a government employee and God forbid you didn't lose your job to Doge cuts, or maybe a teacher who really works at the same job for 30 years and can retire from it and get a pension. I'm sure there's some people that can, but not like it used to be. Different languages, yeah, to say the least. Um, well, thank you guys for hanging out with me for the last hour and 22 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm gonna go pack my bag like I lied and said I was gonna do earlier. And you guys have a good night. Let's listen to some cartoons. See you tomorrow.